Commissioner Lenny Lane has vowed to end the rumors and speculation and will make an announcement about the wild card match in the Primetime Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship Tournament next on PTW. Fans, and welcome to Primetime Wrestling. We are here at the Bloomington Knights, standing in the ring, Nikki Free.
Yes, standing in that ring, and if I look closely enough from up here, it looks like those knees are chattering a bit as the music of the one and only John Johnson plays.
The Misfit is making his way to the ring. This is a quarterfinal matchup.
Yes, it is. Mark, it is a quarterfinal matchup, but I would highly encourage this rookie, this newbie, this, quite frankly, jabroni, Nikki Free, to exit the Bloomington Knights if he knows what's good for him, because he is taking on John Johnson.
A quarterfinal matchup for what, you might ask? Well, it is of the utmost importance. It is for the Primetime Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. This is a tournament, and this is John Johnson versus Nikki Free. The winner is going to move on to the next round.
You said it wrong, Mark. This isn't just a tournament. This is the tournament to determine the next King of the Hill of PTW. And you're looking at him right there in my eyes.
An awfully confident look on the face of John Johnson, of course being flanked by his cohort, the Persian Sheik, Arya Daivari. Here's a look at the brackets, Donnie.
You saw Arya was still there for his friend despite being out of this tournament in the first round. One of the questions that still lays before us is what's going to happen in that wild card matchup. Mark, have you heard anything? Because I have not been contacted despite reaching out.
I have not heard a thing. Of course, Johnson and Free is going to move on to face whoever is going to occupy that wild card spot.
Yeah, Nikki Free, whoever makes these graphics, whoever's in the truck decides that he beat Mitch Paradise. That's what was booked, but that is not what happened. Mitch Paradise did not lose to Nikki Free.
Of course, Mitch Paradise not here this evening. Nikki Free anxious to prove himself in this tournament, anxious to move on, maybe have a spot at that belt.
He has got no chance in that regard. Look at John Johnson's determination. I would say I detect a slight smirk on his face because this man is so confident in his abilities, especially against the likes of the Zebra Kid, Nikki Free.
Well, that's going a bit too far, questioning the style of Free. Free, a tall individual in his own right, almost maybe a half an inch or so taller than Johnson. This should be an interesting matchup from a stature standpoint.
I will agree with you, Nikki Free, I mean, it's a visual thing, it can't really be disputed, is taller than John Johnson, but the weight advantage clearly going to John Johnson.
That is true. It should be interesting here as Arya Daivari makes his way out of the ring. Johnson tests the ropes as he typically will. And there you see a cup of ice or some kind of beverage hurled in the direction of Johnson.
Johnson's used to it. He's a man who spends a lot of time in the gym, just like his good friend Arya, preparing themselves physically when they're not doing it mentally for competition in the ring. And there's a lot of haters for folks like that. I know that personally.
PJ Thorne checking the boots of Johnson, making sure there's no weaponry or things of that nature.
Again, with the false accusations, Arya Daivari has never used a weapon in any of his matchups. He's never brought a weapon ringside when he's supporting his friend John Johnson.
These two men circling each other now. Johnson to the outside.
And planting ideas, Mark. That's your job, though, right?
Playing mind games of some sort is Johnson, a technique usually employed by some of his competitors.
Often employed by you, the leading commentator on this broadcast, Mr. Biased himself. Oh, there you go. There you go, ref, do your job.
There you see Wally the Beer Man at ringside, distributing beverages to those above the age of 21.
A staple of Minnesota sports.
Indeed, just one of the many reasons to come here to Primetime Wrestling. Of course, we'd like to remind you, get your tickets at ptwrestling.com.
And I also, and I'm sure you will, Mark, and all the fans and you have already done it, is to follow us on Twitter at PTWMN.
This matchup underway now. Johnson starting things off early, a series of clubs to the back. Attempted an arm wrench there, but reversed by Nikki Free.
There's that height advantage, but the weight there. Johnson on top of his man.
Side headlock being employed now by on a prone Nikki Free by Johnson. Of course, thank you for reminding us about that Twitter. That is the place you can go for lots more information, Donnie.
Absolutely, you can find the latest ticket information for Primetime Wrestling events, and you can be a part of this live in-your-face action that every one of these fans returns every time Primetime Wrestling is in town.
Wrist lock now by Nikki Free has Johnson momentarily down, but Johnson, he sure does know his way to get out of that situation as he drives the lighter Free back into the corner.
That height advantage, it's not looking so far like it's enough for Nikki Free to take on the beast, the mountain known as John Johnson in this tournament.
Did you see the confidence slap? Almost a bit of a pat on the cheek that Johnson gave to Nikki Free there. Kick to the midsection now has Free bent right over, and a left jab there by Johnson, and another kick right to the gut has momentarily disoriented Nikki Free.
He's back on him though.
He is back on him.
Signs of life. One of the questions I have to ask you though, Mark, is in regards to this wild card matchup. Whoever wins that matchup, we don't even know the competitors. Johnson on the outside.
There's an ugly spill taken by Johnson. No, we do not know the status of this wild card spot here. Do you have any speculations, Donnie?
No, I have no idea who. I've not heard anything. All I know is that apparently Lenny Lane is going to make some announcement in regards to it at some point tonight, but I've not heard any specifics. This entire tournament is up in the air in a lot of ways, except for John Johnson now. Odds-on favorite, especially considering Arya Daivari and Black Stallion have both been eliminated.
Oh, and Johnson just took a sip of that Coca-Cola and spit it right in the face of Free. These two men are battling their way through the crowd. The fans here at Primetime Wrestling. And this is just an example of the kind of hands-on, interactive situations you can find yourself dealing with if you become a member of this crowd, this loyal crowd here at the Bloomington Knights.
I gotta give him his due. He perfectly telegraphed that, pulled himself back out, and just ducked that elbow from Johnson.
Drops the leg right on the elbow there by Nikki Free, a technique we've seen him use before.
You gotta, especially when you do it so well, the force he drops it with is gonna dislocate someone's shoulder, and I'm pretty sure that'll ensure a 3 count.
And the speed of Nikki Free is impressive also, Donnie. After he does the move, he goes for such a quick pin attempt that Johnson almost doesn't even know what's happening. Nikki Free is a quick young man here in the squared circle. Johnson has him up for a sidewalk slam. No! Backbreaker. I thought he was going to go for the traditional sidewalk slam there, but he modified it right into a backbreaker, dropping him over that knee.
A lot of quality and expertly done wrestling maneuvers and psychology. This man knows his way around the squared circle, knows how to get in his opponent's mind.
A boot to the side there. And as much as I admire the athleticism and tenacity of Nikki Free, oh, and a kick to the back.
The tenacity is one thing, but what it looks like to me, this kid needs is an opportunity. He didn't show a lot of it in his handicap match against what is, in my opinion, the greatest injustice. The man I had picked as my winner of this tournament, Billy Blaze, he's now out of it, so I gotta go with Johnson. But this Nikki Free, this youngster, I just don't know if he's gonna have enough wherewithal to go all the way, even if he gets lucky enough to overcome Johnson in this quarterfinals matchup. 1, 2.
Johnson going for the cover there after he bluntly put it, just cumbersomely knocked him down right to his feet. It wasn't even so much of a clothesline, maybe, as it was a lariat there, Donnie.
It was a proof of physics and science, Mark. about motion, velocity, and all of that.
Wait, watch this now here.
What I'm going to watch and I'm going to keep talking about is the weight advantage. Look, Aria's not even doing anything because he knows Johnson. Johnson's talking to the ref about officiating.
In the past, Daivari has been known to use some liberal techniques on the outside there. Right hand to the solar plexus, one right to the head. Nikki Free returns in kind, and Daivari is not looking too pleased.
If by liberal you mean an eye for an eye, remember Ryan Cruz shoved Ari Daivari in that previous tournament matchup.
That was a long time ago, certainly not within the realms of this matchup. As Johnson comes crashing down across the back of the neck, goes for the pinfall, 2 count there. Nikki Free still has some life left in him.
The kid has fire, but he doesn't have the inferno, that burning desire that I see every time.
1, 2.
I walk up to John Johnson, not even just in that square circle, but when he arrives to the arena, when he leaves the arena, when I'm enjoying a nice dinner with him and his beautiful wife and family, I can say that that fire burns 24/7 in John Johnson.
Johnson at the outside of the ring. Looks like he's gonna go up top, perhaps for a high-risk maneuver. And for a big man, that's not easy to do. I gotta tell ya, Nikki Free is up to his feet. He's gonna catch it. Oh, and he knocked the foot off the rope. Johnson is momentarily discombobulated there.
Looks like Nikki was reading those textbooks on Wrestling 101. He didn't show any compassion when Johnson asked for it. A little pause, a little moment.
Johnson gets him out of there. A couple of fists to the side and one to the head. And Johnson created some separation. Is he going to be able to follow through? No.
It's these youngsters today, Mark. Too busy skipping chapters. You didn't read the one about capitalizing on things.
He's going to capitalize here for sure. The superplex. It took him right down. But I think, Donnie, he may have done some damage to his own back. As you see, Free holding the small of the back. Let's take a look.
Let's see it again in slow motion.
Oh, right down on that back.
Both men worse for wear after that.
Incredible shots by the camera crew here, catching the moment of impact as both men are in pain here. It's obvious. A fist to the head. And he one right and returned in kind. Donnie, this action is incredible.
Both men are...
Johnson.
They're both on their feet, but it looks like Nikki Free is not looking like he's going to stay there for long.
Both men holding their ground until the clothesline from Free took down Johnson. He's back up. And he has him. And that was a nice slam. Shades of the Rock with the rock bottom.
But this is not Johnson's rock bottom. 1, 2.
No, it's not. Johnson kicked out.
I was too close for my liking, John. Maybe he was just saving himself up because he's got to unleash it. He's got to take this one out.
He runs at him into the corner. Goes for the big splash. Johnson moves out of the way. And Johnson throws him out to the concrete floor.
Buying himself some time because this is Johnson's time.
Did you hear the sick splat of bones and skin on that concrete, Donnie?
Yep, you know what I heard, Mark? I heard the sounds of the jabroni being thrown out like yesterday's trash by a ring general.
Well, whether he's a jabroni or not, this man has a family, and I don't think it's right that he just goes crashing out to the concrete like that. Johnson has got a mean streak, a mile wide, and he is not afraid to travel that whole mile if that's what it takes.
He won't go beyond just traveling it. He's gonna drag your carcass with him that entire mile and beyond if he has to get what he knows is rightfully his. It belongs to him.
And he just loves when these fans get, well, wait a second now, John Johnson, you're not gonna, that's Wally the Beer Man.
It seems like Johnson is no different than all these fans.
It looks like maybe Johnson just wants a refreshing cold beverage.
Everyone loves Wally the Beer Man. I can't tell you all the good times I've had with Wally over the years.
Is he gonna take the drink? He is. A sign of solidarity perhaps by Johnson. Wally the Beer Man. Oh man.
Got what he had coming. He tried to butt in games until someone gets beer in the eyes.
Yes, Wally the Beer Man.
All smiles.
Attempted to give John Johnson a taste of his own medicine, but Johnson, beer to the eyes of Wally the Beer Man. I don't think anyone's ever spoken that phrase before.
I don't think so either, but we missed the action. We were too dazed by Wally. Johnson down.
And look at the beautiful elbow from the top rope.
1, 2, 3.
Johnson, no. still able to kick out despite the top rope elbow. Many men in the past have done this elbow. Take a look. Nicely done by Nikki Free, yet nicely done by Johnson being able to kick out.
Absolutely. I mean, that elbow was right on the sternum.
Daivari now getting the attention of Nikki Free.
Johnson might be winded from that attack, but he's not gassed.
And he hoists him up. Celtic Cutter connect. That's going to be it, Donnie. 1, 2, 3. And you know it when you see it.
No doubt about it. I had no question that he was going to win, especially after that.
You were beat in the middle of that ring.
Did you hear what Daivari is saying to Johnson? He's saying you're welcome.
Well, that is not the kind of attitude Johnson usually likes to hear.
I hope that Arya's not taking it to heart that Johnson wanted to have that match last time against Cruz, one-on-one, just mano-a-mano, considering their history.
And still to come, everybody, Primetime Wrestling Commissioner Lenny Lane will be making an appearance with an announcement regarding the World Championship Tournament. Exciting competition here in Primetime Wrestling is what you have come to expect, and this man always delivers. He is Ryan Cruz.
As always with Primetime Wrestling, as promised, so delivered. High impact action is on its way once again right now. And I don't even know how we're going to, but Ryan Cruz is going to have to somehow top the matchup that kicked off the show in Johnson and Nikki Free.
I'm not sure if it can be done because that was quite a matchup indeed, Donnie. Fans, we'd like to remind you to get your tickets for these live events here at the Bloomington Knights simply by going to ptwrestling.com.
And also, visit our Twitter at PTWMN for all the latest news, videos, and anything when it comes to Primetime Wrestling.
All things PTW. And here, of course, is the familiar music we remember from last time with this competitor.
Last time we weren't told, and again, I wasn't told who was in this matchup. There is a conspiracy. There are multiple conspiracies, and there might be multiple conspirators.
Well, there you see that man, that alien-like creature that we remember from last time named Doug. That's right, he is an active competitor here in Primetime Wrestling, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, Donnie, a very peculiar one at that.
I have heard whispers from several people, and they're even one of them was a cryptozoologist hypothesizing that Doug might be some form of insect, and therefore he doesn't have a central nervous system, so Doug might not be able to feel pain as you and I and the competitors in some way know it in Primetime Wrestling. He might be just too stupid to feel.
Well, he slinks about like he's a snake, and he has the mannerisms of some kind of creature-like person or person-like creature. I'm not really sure, Donnie, but But he seems to be picking up a little bit of momentum as far as
just
popularity goes.
Now he's picking up youngsters at ringside. Parents are concerned, it looks like. What is this man doing? Oh no, this woman is crazy. She was smiling. She liked that her kid was picked up by what could possibly be an alien or, you know what, Mark? You know what your job's gonna be? Your job after this event, after this show, is to figure out who, what, Doug. Find out about Doug. I need more information. The fans do.
You know, not since Mork and Mindy have I seen such a peculiar individual.
The community at large needs to know if there's an alien on the loose. Speaking of outer space, Mark, one man who's not afraid of going up high and going into orbit is Ryan Cruz, high flyer extraordinaire. Do you think that's going to be enough for him to take over the unorthodox style of Doug? You saw how it confused Udo. What kind of mind games is it going to play on Ryan Cruz?
Well, perhaps you've hit on something there, Donnie. Perhaps this is all mind games being done by a clever man in a black suit. I guess we have no way of knowing, but one thing is for certain, he psyched out Udo.
It's nice to see you change your tune. You were calling it genius last time. It was lucky, if anything. I just simply want to know what motivates Doug and why he's here, who's put him here, and why we're not being told more about him, even when he's coming out or where he's coming out.
Donnie, let me say this. There is something that remains to be seen for the pure wrestling skills of Doug. He did not impress me as far as his wrestling holds went last time. Let's see how he does this time out against Ryan Cruz, a man who has proven the test in primetime wrestling, a competitor in that ring that knows his way around the ring.
Repeating, one thing I wanted to note, and the action was so baffling last time, I didn't really get to mention it. It kind of just slipped my mind. I lost track of it just with the craziness going on in the ring with Doug versus Udo, and now we got Doug versus Ryan Cruz. Is he asking for the fans to cheer for him?
I believe he is trying to get momentum on his side. And is he tickling Ryan Cruz?
These are head games, but I wanted to note to you, and the fact that Doug was repeating the moves of Udo, doing the arm drag only after having it done to him by Udo, it seems...
Perhaps Doug's strategy is to be that of a mimic of sorts.
Yes, I'm no private investigator or doctor or anything of the sorts. I am just a unbiased, sincere human being who loves the sport of professional wrestling, and I just simply feel that Doug might not be everything we think.
Well, that's just the thing about Doug. None of the competitors here at Primetime Wrestling have been able to do one degree of research as to where this man came from, who he's competed against in the past, who's trained him, things of that nature. We don't know a thing about Doug. So how in the world...
What I want to have done, though, and the question that's really here is it going to work for him, this unorthodox style, this mimicry, learning as he goes? Is this going to be enough for him to confuse his opponents? It's so far worked on Ryan Cruz, who is...
It has. Cruz there, trying a mind game of his own. It
seems like Cruz is showing Doug some compassion. He's not hit the pedal to the metal in this matchup like he did when he took on John Johnson.
Donnie, I think you made a good point, and that's that Doug seems to be a chameleon of sorts.
He's a very unique character in what is the uniquest of worlds, pro wrestling. Doug is certainly someone, even after just one matchup, and now this is second, is someone or something I will never forget.
And Doug is now quite literally dancing about the ring. I'm not so sure that he's not taking Ryan Cruz seriously. Side headlock applied by Cruz. Takes him over there, side headlock takeover.
We've seen this time and time again in both matchups. Doug will not even tie up with his opponents. I wonder if that is part of the psychology or if he just doesn't know. We need to find out these things. We need more information from our commissioner and from the rest of the back and the board of Primetime Wrestling's offices.
And there you see, Donnie, every time Doug gets a hold applied to him across the neck, he squirms around like a jellyfish of sorts.
I've not even seen Doug in person. I'm up here in the booth. We're looking through here on the monitors.
The man dresses all in black. Oh, there's Udo. Of course, last time he lost the matchup to Doug. I'm not sure if he's here to lend some support to Cruz or...
But Doug's costume or suit or whatever the heck that is, maybe that's his exoskeleton skin like you said.
Yeah.
but it's shiny. I want to know if it's slick or slippery because a lot of guys seem to have a hard time of keeping their grasp, keeping their hold on Doug. And
arm drag there from Cruz to Udo. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, Donnie. Hip toss and now a scoop slam by Cruz. I'm not sure why the referee's allowing this to continue.
The more I watch this, the more I get a feeling there's a method to Doug's madness.
Arm drag now, hip toss now, and wait a second. That's exactly the moveset that Ryan Cruz just used against Udo.
Yes, and those are some of the moves that he learned while he faced Udo, the scoop slam included.
And I gotta say,
I don't know what's going on, Udo. Can you or someone in this place tell me?
I don't think Udo can tell anyone anything.
Mark's not gonna help me. You got your fancy iPad, Mark.
I gotta say, Donnie, I think Doug is like a sponge. I think he's learning these moves as he goes. Arm drag now to Cruz, the very man, and a hip toss, the very man who showed him that set of moves.
He turned it up there, though.
This man, Doug, is certifiable.
He is insane. He's unorthodox. He's unpredictable.
And what is he gonna do now? How can you predict the unpredictable?
I like to liken professional wrestling to one of my favorite personal hobbies on the weekend, when I'm not calling the wrestling a PTW, and that is baking. I love to bake cupcakes, I love to bake banana bread, and one of the things I have learned in all of my years of baking is that measurements are important. The mixture that you use for your cake, bread, or whatever is what makes it so unique and so tasty. And I'm gonna ask you, Mark, right now, is the composition, whatever makes up Doug, this unorthodox style as you've described it, is it going to be enough for him to take over, to be one of the top stars in PTW?
I'm not quite so sure that the pie tin known as Doug's skull is holding the right ratio of ingredients necessary to make an award-winning cake. I don't know if his cake...
Are you at a loss for an analogy?
I am. I'm quite frankly befuddled.
I'm befuddled if Doug thinks that was anything like the moonsault Ryan Cruz just laid on Udo.
And in all my years in this industry, Donnie, I'm not quite so sure if I've ever been so unsure on how to call any one match.
You and I are just like Doug there, coming up short when this man comes in the ring. How do you call action from a man who dances at ringside?
Is that his version of the Ric Flair strut?
Come on, Doug, give us a headlock. Get back in that ring.
But Udo,
get him back in there, Udo.
And the question remains to be seen, what is Udo's role in all of this?
Udo just said he was trying to teach him, so it seems to be some of these guys are taking Doug under their wing. Who's getting him here? How is he getting it?
It looks to me like Doug just slipped underneath the ring.
Like a little cockroach right under the ring. Let's see where he scampers out from, or maybe he'll be smart and just stay under there for the night.
Cruz and Udo seem to be formulating.
Now they're dead. This is.
You dug it. No, beat me.
I'll say it right now. Doug.
There's Doug. There's Doug. He's slinked back into the ring. Udo pulls him down. I think Doug has gotten the count-out victory.
Ryan Cruz was not in the ring yet. Doug, you hear his music playing.
Doug has won this matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, Primetime Wrestling Commissioner Lenny Lane
is gonna make that announcement, Mark, in regards to the opponents in that wild card matchup.
Laszlo, you're late. We're never gonna make it to the show on time.
Don't worry about it. We got plenty of time. Just gotta get a quick oil change at Freeway Ford, and we'll be on our way to the matches.
We don't have that kind of time.
They can do it quick and easy. Phil, good to see you, man. Hey, we need an oil change. We need it right now. Can you help us out?
Don't worry, I'll get you right in.
Fantastic. Told you so.
Bring your car to the Freeway Ford Quick Lube. For only $29.95, we will perform a checkup that includes oil and filter change, tire check, brake check, and topping off your fluids. Mention the Primetime Wrestling Aria Davari special, and with your oil change, receive a free tire rotation.
See, I told you they were fast. 1, 2, 3.
You were right. Hey, now we got time for you to shave my back.
We sure do. We sure do.
Welcome back to Primetime Wrestling.
Whoa.
Gracing us with his presence now, Aria Davari, the Persian Sheik, who's already been out here once tonight.
We don't agree too often, Mark, but I'll agree with you that we are graced by his presence. And I also gotta agree with you that Doug might be a genius, the Einstein of PTW, with two count-out victories in a row. That are just real lucky.
Davari just yanked the microphone out of the hands of Laszlo, our ring announcer. Let's see what the Persian Sheik has got to say.
The persecuted Sheik.
This has been going on for far too long. The new commissioner, Lenny Lane, has been conspiring against Sheik Aria Davari.
He is not alone in those beliefs.
Not only do I deserve a rematch being the former champion,
He never got that, Mark.
not only should I be awarded the championship since Lenny Lane is too scared to defend it and decided to retire, not only should I have been the one who got the bye in the title tournament, not the Magic Man. With all of that aside, I know Lenny Lane told that referee in my match last month against Rennie D to do a fast count on me.
Oh, well, now that might be taking things a bit too
The
far.
plot thickens and this conspiracy continues.
So this is exactly what's about to happen. I'm ready to fight. I'm warmed up. So I want Rennie D to bring his skinny little ass out here. And I'm gonna beat him in the middle of this ring, and I deserve my spot back in the title tournament.
He
Davari
does
means
it.
business.
And what fan does not want to see Rennie D and Aria Davari in in-ring competition? A barn burner of a matchup guaranteed.
Of course, now the familiar music of Lenny Lane being played. Is he gonna?
A man that some have began to call a coward with his actions.
You have been touting that opinion. There you see Lenny Lane, the cornerstone of the Monday Night Wars, who has made his way here to Primetime Wrestling.
I couldn't help but come out here and just get a couple things straight. Aria, it seems like you think I wanted this position. I bullied myself into this position, and I used my championship status to get this position. That is not correct. The powers of Primetime Wrestling came to me after they found out I had a neck injury and asked me to be the Primetime Wrestling Commissioner.
And what a job he's done.
Were you involved with those meetings? I wasn't. I wasn't even told.
Now wait, I gotta say something. I didn't want to do it at first, but then I realized that by me being the Primetime Wrestling Commissioner, I could put the power into the Primetime Wrestling's fans' hands and make this their wrestling organization.
And they love him for it.
I could give a damn what any of these people want.
Why would you? It's like the wind, it shifts and changes.
Well, you know, everybody likes a little power, so I'm going to start this commissioner powership since I have so much right now. The November 29th show coming up after Thanksgiving. Millions of people starve in this country every year. What I am saying right now, everybody show up, tell their friends, everybody bring an extra canned good, and I'm giving all the profits at the door to the Veep Food Shelf right here in Bloomington, Minnesota.
From champion to coward to now what, philanthropist?
Lenny Lane doing his best to make everyone around this great state feel that holiday spirit.
Secondly, I am not going to put up with insubordination, guys coming out to the ring when they don't have a match, everything like that. In fact, as once the great Wally Carbo said, there will be fines and there will be suspensions.
Well then pull out your wallet, Lenny. You interfered in that main event matchup.
But I'm not going to hand out the fines and suspensions. I'm going to allow the people of Primetime Wrestling, since this is their ring and their organization, to hand out the fines. Now, who here wants to give Daivari a fine?
Just like sheep, doing as they're told.
Let's try that again. Or would everybody here like to see Arya Daivari suspended from Primetime Wrestling?
It sounds unanimous to me.
Do I hear a yes? You know, I'm going to be fair right now. And I just want everybody to know, I went and saw Dr. Andrews 2 weeks ago down in Florida, and it looks like Lenny Lane's going to be back in that ring in November for the November show.
Well, all right.
Unfortunately for all of us tonight, I can't come down there, slap you in the walls of Lane, and make you tap out like I did in May and beat you for the heavyweight championship. But I'm going to do something. I'm going to show you, Daivari, that I'm a fair guy. I'm going to allow you to have a match, in fact, right now. If you win, you get back into the title bracket for the heavyweight championship title.
That's right. Bring out Rennie D. Bring him out.
It's not going to be Rennie D.
It's paradise.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring attention right now to the referees of Primetime Wrestling. They have a very hard job trying to keep their eyes on everything going on, and let's give them a big round of applause for the work they do.
These fans giving a nice ovation to the officials here at TTW.
Unfortunately, sometimes they don't see everything that goes on, and after reviewing the tape last week, I saw last month a Primetime Wrestling former champion had his foot on the ropes when he was counted to 3 and lost the match, which eliminated him from the championship bracket. So what I'm going to do right now is bring him back into this. So Daivari, you beat tonight the Black Stallion. You go on. If the Black Stallion beats you, he goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and let's have a great show.
The wild card question has been answered, but now the real question is who's going to win?
making, Mr. Rice?
Big show, big appetite.
The regular pre-show for Lorenzo's meatball hoagie?
That's right. Have the cook throw an extra meatball on there for me. I have a big match tonight.
Hoagie for you, Mr. Blaze?
Does it look like this body eats hoagies?
Can I get your salad?
Biggest salad you got.
I'm Cody Rice, and you may know me as the Husky Heartthrob from Primetime Wrestling. Before every show, I have a little appetite, so I head to the Bloomington Fat Lorenzo's for a meatball hoagie.
Welcome back, fans, to Primetime Wrestling. The Black Stallion, as we speak, is making his way to the ring, and he's been announced as that featured wildcard spot in the championship tournament.
A man who lives for the spotlight is now involved once again in the Primetime Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. As I look down at my notes, Mark, the winner of this match is going to be taking on John Johnson.
That is true, and then the winner of that match will be moving on to the finals of this tournament. Arya Daivari looks ready, he looks poised, he looks in fit condition. Primetime Wrestling is brought to you by Budweiser, who would like to remind you, responsibility matters. And Freeway Ford Bloomington, your way at Freeway. Visit freewayford.net. And Fat Lorenzo's Pizza, Pasta, Hoagies, Italian in a big way. Donnie, are you a big fan of Italian food?
I am a big fan of Italian food almost as much as I am of the in-ring competition that you only get at Primetime Wrestling.
These fans very surprised to see the Black Stallion back in the squared circle here tonight. He's going to be facing Daivari, Arya Daivari, the Persian Sheik. He's in the green trunks, the Black Stallion in the red.
These two men have faced each other before. In fact, it was for the championship itself.
And I seem to recall that matchup as an epic showdown that will go down in the annals of PTW history.
Infamy, if anything, because once again, injustice was struck upon the Persian aristocrat, Arya Daivari, as he had pinned the Black Stallion, was the champion, had it stripped of him. It was a reversal of decisions. He would go on to lose that matchup.
Jimmy the ref having some discussion with Arya Daivari. I think Daivari wants him to check out the Black Stallion one more time. Of course, the rule book of PTW does state that each wrestler is allowed to ask for a recheck of those boots and trunks.
But in their second matchup for the championship, with Stallion still as the champion, it was Arya Daivari who took out the prized colt from his throne and knocked him off that spot, claiming it for himself.
Indeed, that is true. The Black Stallion tried to get a quick edge on Daivari there, but Daivari quick like a cat, a Persian cat, if you will, and he just moved right out of the way. The Black Stallion attempting to get the crowd on his side early on.
Arya Daivari does not seem at all entertained or want to hear from these people. Focused.
Daivari, I was just going to say that very word. Dottie, you took the words right out of my mouth. These men lock up. Daivari, Stallion, a couple of switcheroos.
There we go, gets to the ropes. You see, he would not drop. So many, like that Nikki Freak hit earlier tonight, he would have dropped down to the mat, but not Arya. He's been in too many of these.
Jimmy the ref right on top of things there, forcing the Black Stallion to break the hold after the mandatory, I guess, 4.5 count there. The Black Stallion, he's holding the ropes here.
Disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
Arya does not need that.
Disrespect is the way, quite frankly, that Arya Daivari looks at everyone around him in his life. He thinks that disrespect comes from everywhere.
It does. A man of his pedigree?
I think it might all be in his own head. Let's get this underway now. A firm USA chant being shouted out by the capacity crowd here at the Bloomington Knights.
It's hard to listen to you talk, Mark. especially when you call matches like handicap matches straightforward and not acknowledge the bias that constantly permeates these decisions from the commissioner and I'm guessing some members of the board.
Let me stop you there. It's quite frankly hard to hear myself think when all I hear from you is this rhetoric and these conspiracy theories floating around primetime management.
I wasn't told anything. I still don't know why Magic is in this tournament.
Stallion goes for a cover there.
And someone like Arya Davari, a man who has not gotten his rematch, was forced out and now has to climb back for a spot like he did his rematch against Stallion in the first place.
It is going to be a long climb indeed if the Black Stallion keeps him down like he has him here in this matchup. He won't be able to move on at all.
Those incredible biceps of Stallion are legendary, and when he cinches them on your neck like that,
they are. That's how he's able to take over on that headlock takeover with such ease.
Come on, Jimmy, get in there. I think he's got that on the carotid artery sometimes when he's laying him on his back, cutting off the blood flow, the oxygen.
Black Stallion firmly holding that hold right in place. He has Davari in a position, rather, he does not want to be, although he's back to his feet now, has him against the ropes. That will break the headlock. Goes for a hip toss. Can't do it. The Black Stallion reverses into a hip toss of his own.
They might as well start calling him the Wall because he just stopped him dead in his tracks.
Hammerlock now momentarily back into a headlock now. The Black Stallion has Davari. And I might suggest that the ring veteranship that the Black Stallion possesses maybe has him favored slightly in this matchup.
I was going to say because he placates these fans and has drinks with you after the show and plays politics.
Oh my goodness. Donnie, that was an expertly applied drop kick.
That training of John Johnson and Arya Davari, they train hours together, and both men, those drop kicks, they are so precise, right on the sternum, and with such pinpoint just impact, knocking the wind right out of you, but it's still not enough to take down the Stallion off his feet.
It is not, and the tables are now turned with a side headlock of his own after that drop kick. The Black Stallion fighting now to power out of this hole, but Davari has it cinched in really nicely.
Something he's got to prevent because once Stallion gets that momentum and his strength is allowed to flex as he does those muscles, it's hard to get the train of Black Stallion to slow down or even stop. Fires him off into the ropes.
Goes for the sunset flip. Can he get him over?
1, 2, 3.
No, the Black Stallion just got out of that position, and a fist to the breadbasket has Davari stopped dead in his tracks.
Benefit of the doubt for you there. I'm looking, it might have been a little lower than the breadbasket for my eyes.
You know, I think on the sunset flip attempt there, he didn't quite fully hook the legs, and that's what allowed him to escape out of that maneuver and reverse this momentum yet again. The Black Stallion, what's he going to do with him now? I think he has minds to ramming him right into that turnbuckle pad. Yes, he does. I think Davari might not know what city he's in here, Donnie.
He looks like he might be seeing stars. He might have double vision. I love that song.
I don't think Davari has any songs in his head right now. Maybe just a bunch of stars circling about.
There might be some ringing. That's
ringing
about it.
Some bells. Yes, you said it, Donnie. The Black Stallion now, much to your chagrin, is in firm control of this matchup.
Just like I might not agree with you all the time, Mark, I respect you, and I respect the Stallion when it comes to in-ring competition. He is one of the strongest in primetime wrestling. He's also explosive, which is a damaging combo.
Davari catches him with a kick to the head, and you can hear it. You can hear the impact. Davari sizing him up. Missile drop kick from the middle rope.
1.
No, not quite. Arya Davari is going to have to reach deeper into his bag of tricks.
Cinches it now. There we go.
Oh, and a headlock complemented with a body scissors there.
There you go, on display, but just instantly, without even thinking about it, without hesitation, Arya Davari wraps the legs.
And look at the 1-2 punch, so to speak. He is cutting off the supply of blood near the neck, and he is cutting off the oxygen going into the lungs.
At that diaphragm, which is how you, once you do that,
A systematic attack, to say the least, is what Arya Daivari knows how to do. But
that ring prowess on display always by Arya.
He is going for those ropes for additional leverage, Donnie. You can see it there.
I was too busy looking at his clasped hands. Look at those hands of Arya Daivari. Perfectly held together to get maximum leverage onto the neck of him.
There you see the camera
angle. You see it right there. You see it right there.
Yes, and there's those hands. The feet, Donnie, the feet.
The feet are not part of the maneuver. Why would I be watching such things? I am keeping my eyes on the action, calling it as I see it. I suggest and encourage you to do the same.
You know, if only the referees here at PTW had eyes in the back of their head, perhaps they could see more of the fraudulent activity that's going on behind their backs. Nonetheless, the Black Stallion is back up. A couple of elbows right to the midsection. Breaks the hold momentarily, but Daivari shoves him right back down to the canvas. Daivari now stalking the Black Stallion.
I was going to say circling, but yeah, you were much better and more apt. He was stalking him. The look on his face just seemed like he was about to be like a serpent to strike and put the Stallion down for good.
And I don't think Daivari was pleased with the speed with which Jimmy the ref used that count. Oh, and a vicious knee right to the midsection. And the Black Stallion is hurt, Donnie.
Now he's the one here in the ring and seeing the stars.
I'm quite frankly getting worried here. The Black Stallion, that was a vicious knee. And now a kick to the head. And now he's laying that knee right across the throat. Daivari utilizing those ropes to his maximum advantage.
But he released within the mandatory 5 count, so it was within the rules of this matchup.
Indeed, like the great Nick Bockwinkel said, it is illegal to choke a guy for 5 seconds, but not illegal to choke him for 4.
1, 2, and 3. The Black Stallion he's just like any other horse. Once you get them off their legs and on their back, they're pretty much useless. And that is what Arya Daivari has been doing for much of this matchup, keeping the Stallion down and controlling the momentum, something he is an expert at with his tours around the world, honing his craft to become one of, if not the top professional wrestler in the world today.
Black Stallion trying as hard as he can to get a little bit of life going back, circulating back through that large frame of his. However, if you keep absorbing shots and kicks like that, I don't know how successful that endeavor is going to be, but the Black Stallion's still on his feet. He's trying as hard as he can, Donnie. Does he have it in him?
I'm not quite sure.
Double
looking at
axe
him again,
handles.
just look at the stunned look in his eyes. Looks like that look changed a little bit. He looks angry now.
I was just going to say
that
the same
concern
thing.
has now gone Arya's face.
And look at Daivari, he's begging off. Fist to the head.
I didn't see begging off.
In the midsection. Irish whip against the ropes. An elbow takes him down. And he takes another clothesline. The Black Stallion's on fire.
What I saw was Arya Daivari get up after those successions of... And look at that, he read the Black Stallion perfectly.
He telegraphed that one, and his strength allowed him to carry him over the top rope, and the Black Stallion on the top rope, and a flying shoulder. 1, 2, 3. No. I thought for sure that flying shoulder tackle from the top rope was going to spell the end for Daivari.
That's what separates goods from the greats. I knew he wasn't going to get that 3 count considering the pedigree of Arya's I've spoken about at length and with passion, and the fact that the Stallion didn't get his shoulder dead into the center of the heart. It looked like it hit him a little bit more on the collarbone, and for that move to be completely effective, it's got to hit the heart.
Stallion goes for the stampede. Daivari ducked underneath, and a high knee has the Stallion reeling against the ropes, and an elbow by the Stallion. And now an elbow by Daivari.
But both men are on their feet. This is incredible.
This is a seesaw matchup.
A roaring elbow right to the head of the Black Stallion. This is it. 1, 2, and...
The Stallion has kicked out. How is he not knocked out cold?
It's a 2 count. Drop the shoulder.
There you go. Come on, Arya, get to your feet.
Roundhouse roaring punch.
Oh, I think I know what he's got on mind. For Stallion, come on, connect! Counter, no!
Spins him around, has him up. Is he gonna go for the tombstone? Or a power slam, perhaps?
John Johnson showing up to support his...
And the Black Stallion just clocked him. absolutely clocked John Johnson. And the super kick. Daivari goes for the pin.
2,
But no.
3.
Jimmy, the ref, he does not see the pinfall attempt.
John Johnson can't be doing this. He cannot let his passions get involved in this matchup. I know he's had that strap match previously with the Black Stallion. And
well, what's this now? Daivari looks upset with Johnson. Johnson's attempt. Out of nowhere, the Stampede tramples Daivari.
1, 2.
Black Stallion. The Black Stallion, in dramatic and perhaps controversial fashion, has defeated Ariya Daivari.
The rift between Ariya Daivari and John Johnson is only widened, and now this.
How in the world are these two possibly going to coexist after this? The Black Stallion has won this match and will be advancing to the next round. Donnie, you look shocked.
I'm trying to collect my thoughts and myself because I'm about to go speak with Ariya. We've got a case for the Supreme Court of conspiracy and so much more to put people like him into positions.
Here is the bracket. There you see John Johnson. Oh my goodness, Donnie. There are implications now that remain to be seen. This whole audience is shocked, as am I. Thanks for being with us on Primetime Wrestling.
We'll see you next time.
We sure will. What a night.